Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us. Alberta officials are investigating another oil spill, this one close to home, just outside of Elk Point. Nariman Issa has the latest.
Crews are on the scene of an oil spill at Enbridge's Athabasca pipeline, which is located about 24 kilometers southeast of Elk Point. It happened early Monday morning. Enbridge officials tell Newcap News nearly 1,400 barrels of oil spilled out.
What it appears to be, it was a failure of a flange gasket, which is in the pumping station. What's important is that this wasn't a pipeline issue, so it wasn't a pipeline integrity issue. This is a flange gasket that is actually, again, part of the pump station and not the pipeline itself.
Officials say the water supply wasn't contaminated and that wildlife deterrents such as air cannons and fencing have been put up to keep animals away from the area.
We have the vacuum trucks on site. Much of the material has already been recovered and cleaned up. The site is fully contained.
This latest oil spill has the region's MLA pointing fingers at the province.
When you have oil spills like this, it hurts the entire industry, and we want to ensure that this doesn't happen again. And the only way to do that is with environmental regulations, ensure that they're strictly enforced.
The pipeline has reopened, but the pumping station remains closed. The line connects Alberta's oil sands to Hardisty. The Energy Resources Conservation Board is investigating. Nariman Issa, Newcap News.
And this is the third time in nearly 2 months Alberta has recorded an oil spill. Earlier this month, the Plains Midstream Canada announced a spill near Red Deer. Last month, Pace Oil and Gas had a spill near Rainbow Lake. Protesters are rallying against the Red Pheasant First Nation chief outside the Reserve's band office. Chief Stuart Baptiste says protesters aren't happy he beat out 2 other candidates in the band's last election. However, those rallying outside tell a different story. They say Baptiste's recent court appearance and substance abuse charges are setting a poor example for the community, and they want things to change. A 45-year-old Viking man has vanished, and now the RCMP is reaching out to the public for help. Brian Brooks was last seen in May. His family is worried about his well-being as he does have health concerns. Brooks is 5'9", 179 pounds with hazel eyes and brown hair. Anyone with information or who may have seen Brian Brooks is asked to call the Viking RCMP or any local detachments. Meantime, RCMP were focusing on the Saskatchewan side of the border city this afternoon for the first of a 2-day traffic blitz. Officers from Saskatchewan and Lloydminster geared up to stop impaired and distracted drivers.
The project we're working on today in Lloydminster is the STEP program sponsored by SGI, which is the Selective Traffic Enforcement Program targeting seatbelts and cell phones and various other traffic infractions that we can see.
The STEP program takes place every summer in various locations throughout the province. Constable Burton has this simple message for the public.
You gotta buckle up, hang up your cell phones. It's against the law. You will get charged if you're seen.
Over 30 traffic enforcers are taking part and will be combing the city until tomorrow morning. Well, Gerard, it was like night and day from yesterday to today, and
I like how you put it.
I like today better.
Yeah, it looked pretty well on the outside. We did have a little drippity drip. We are expecting some more. I know you love that phrase. Don't you love it? We are expecting some more. But mind you, let's have a look here.
Okay.
Even in this hour, we are hitting our high temperatures, and I suspect that is going to get a little warm. It might sneak up a degree by the time we have a second look at it later in the show here. But we are expecting some more showers, some of it quite thundery. Once we get out of all of that, though, tomorrow is looking even more gorgeous than today. And I tell you what, you can't wait to get to the weekend. More details coming later in the cast.
Coming up, history in the making for Frog Lake. I'll tell you why just after this break. After years of preparation and hard work, the day has finally come. The Frog Lake First Nation presented its new trail, showing the history of the 1885 rebellion. Mike Bladen has the details.
Over 5 years of hard work went into preparing the new historical trail, all to show off the history of Frog Lake.
It's a huge process. We did a lot of research in the works of literature, historical literature that are available. We also looked at some of the oral histories that were out there. We talked to the communities, so we consulted with the First Nations here as well.
Frog Lake Historical Site has not only been recognized provincially, but nationally as well.
So this is the site of a major incident in the Northwest Rebellion, or the Northwest Resistance of 1885, in which 9 people were killed. It had an enormously significant legacy for First Nations people as well as for others.
And the new interpretive trail will make sure that the story of 1885 is told correctly.
And this small step and this small way of doing this here today with traditional protocol, ceremony, and what happened with the elders is to go forward from this day forward to hopefully that the public will have a better understanding of what really happened here.
And Chief Fox feels this is a great first step.
This is a positive for all both sides, the non-Aboriginal and Aboriginal societies, the communities, and it's a positive step forward, and hopefully we can continue to have more positive media regarding our First Nations people. So,
Baden, Newcap News.
The Lloydminster Interval Home continues to be a vital part of our community, providing shelter for women in crisis. At its AGM today was discussion of new family programs, budgets, and recognizing some of the biggest supporters throughout the year.
Support from our community. If you happen to do a drive-by, you see all the donations and stuff. It's phenomenal. The store has really been a true value and inspiration to the organization as a whole.
And looking to the future, the group see a need for expansion to meet our population growth.
Our bed usage, which is what we measure at our shelters, continues to grow.
It's beyond the classroom.
So the board needs to sit back and start to think about the future, about what does the next shelter look like, or what's our next building project look like, so we can keep up with the needs of our community.
Though, since January, 91 women and 106 children have been housed in the Interval Home. Kayla Buchanan, the host of Around the Region, joins us now, and I'm excited to be back on the desk with you this week. Kayla, what do we have on tap for your show tonight?
We have a bunch of things coming up tonight. It was a great weekend for everybody here in the Border City, especially.
Busy.
Absolutely. And here's a look at what you can expect on tonight on Around the Region. A co-worker and myself, Mariah, our director, we went to the Border Bike Rally as well as the Just Cruise and Cars show at Lakeland College. So we'll have that for you. As well, in North Battleford, Ruben Mays, he's a former NFL player. He was drafted by the New Orleans Saints. They dedicated a field there in his honor, so we checked that out. And of course, Maple Flag, the big story coming out of Four Wing Cold Lake. We go and check out all the highlights from there, especially with the Hercules crew.